The Boston Celtics hold a commanding lead in the NBA Finals after a victory in Game 3. They're up 3-0. No one has come back ever from being down 3-0. The closest someone did was last year, when the Celtics almost did it against the Miami Heat before eventually falling in 7 to that 8 seed. But this one, it's not about the Celtics or any of that. This one is squarely on Luka Doncic. And I know there has been a lot of negativity around Luka today, and some of it can get a little extreme, as sports coverage is. So I do want to preface all of this by saying Luka is still one of the best players in the world. Probably still one of the top 3 best players in the world. Last night was just a rough one, at the worst possible time for the Dallas Mavericks. Quite frankly, Luka Doncic was not good enough in Game 3 for the Dallas Mavericks, fouling out at 27 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. The complaining about the fouls is going to be part of the Luka Doncic experience, but there's nothing to complain about here. A few of the fouls were a little bit borderline, but all of them were fouls. Zach Lowe said before I came on here on his podcast that if you went on and simulated this game 1,000 times, maybe he only gets 5 fouls, like one of them doesn't get called at some point, but those are all fouls. And I don't think you can really bitch or moan too much about it from Luka Doncic. The one that was the most frustrating to me was the one on White under his own net. He misses a shot. The pass has already gone to White. The play is kind of already heading back up the other way, and he just fouls him because he's frustrated. Those are fouls that you just simply cannot have at this level when you are that type of a player. And we get, like, Holiday has a couple sometimes where it's like, probably not the best. Like, not every foul is going to be in the optimal situation to foul someone, but it just feels like for Luka, because he is so important to have out there, you just can't be making those plays because he's frustrated. It's inexcusable to do in the NBA Finals. But even if you take the fouls out of it, let's put the fouls discussion to the side. Luka still wasn't good enough in this game. His shots were coming up short. He was still getting to the rim, he was still getting to his spots, and he was still getting some good looks, and he still scored 27. But he still did not have that same feel that he has had throughout this postseason. Like I said, a lot of the shots were coming up short, and he was just missing a lot to be oversimplistic of things, I guess, a little bit. I do wonder if having to carry the load for this team offensively and then the ringer that Boston is putting him through defensively, I wonder if that is starting to catch up to him a little bit, because it wasn't a very good game for him. And the defense is becoming a problem, or it has been a problem all season, and it's just highlighted now by a team that will absolutely try to take advantage of it as much as possible. And I don't think it's an effort thing. Like, I don't think he's just like, whatever, I don't care. I just don't think he's very good at it. But the Boston Celtics have figured this out and have found numerous ways to pinpoint it. Even when he gets blown by, it doesn't directly lead to a basket, it still kind of does. Like, there was a play in this one, I believe it was the second quarter. Hauser blows by him, and the help defense still comes over, shifts, keeps Hauser from getting to the rim. Hauser isn't a guy who's just like, oh yeah, pull up from mid-range with 15 left on the shot clock. Hauser's not going to do that. So he kicks it out, they rotate it around, and Boston's ball movement in this game was exquisite. And so because of that, Dallas is then chasing the rest of the possession, and they did an all right job until it ended up, I think, with a White corner 3. I might be putting a couple together, but still, it was the initial point of all of the panic is Luka gets blown by, and then it's a kick out, and it's swinging around, and all of Dallas is just running around with their heads cut off until eventually a bucket goes in. And now the Celtics, even when they're not attacking him, they're putting him in tough spots. There was a play in this one in the third quarter where Jrue Holiday drives and kicks it, and now they're rotating it around, and it ends with Luka being the only guy over on the far side in the corner, with isolated on Brown or on White. And so obviously he makes a dash over to Brown. The pass gets made over to White. He is open for a 3, and he knocks it down. Now, maybe you just kind of stay planted between the two. Like, he sold out going over to Brown, which, again, you can understand. Brown's probably going to win Finals MVP, and Derek White, while good, is like the 4th guy you're worried about shooting a bucket there for the Boston Celtics. So I can understand the decision he made, but still, if you just, like, stay planted, and just get ready for it. Either way, he took himself completely out of position and allowed that three to go down. So they put him in a tough spot, but he has been putting himself in tough spots, and Boston is finding so many different ways to attack him now that it is the focal point of their offense, is try to put Luka into difficult situations. And that's why I bring up like the shots, a lot of them falling short, is I do wonder if he has worn down quite a bit as this series has gone along. And the frustrating thing from a Dallas perspective in this game is Luka actually had help this time. Kyrie, I thought, had a really, really good game. You can see from the start that he was on it and he was going. The scoring was excellent. He hits the step back three, then he hits a sidestep three. The crowd's going crazy. They're up by a bunch, and that slowly starts to trickle away. But we had very good Kyrie in this game after being basically a no-show for the first couple of games. And then the bigs got going a little bit. Lively, I thought, was pretty good in this game. He was back to the Lively that we have seen throughout the postseason. Misses that one alley-oop, which would have been crazy, but still. And then Gafford, like, he didn't have an amazing game, but he had some flashes as well. And so that's what kind of adds to the frustration from a Dallas standpoint, is if Luka was Luka from games 1 and 2, I think the Mavericks win this one not relatively easily, but they win this basketball game. They just needed him to, and I get like that is a special level that he was playing at, but you need to be special to win these championships. Jaylen Brown has been special all 3 games. They needed Luka to be that in this game, and they didn't. And I think that's what really, really stings, because some of the other guys who they needed to step up did step up. Washington didn't. I don't like that there isn't a full whatever on it. He was just bad in this game. And that is such a killer, because he was so big in the conference finals against Minnesota and on down the line in the postseason.